The WWE brand split. This is where things were supposed to get interesting. Things were supposed to be better. The booking was supposed to be better. We're supposed to get stars that came back from out of nowhere. NXT stars getting called up. What could go wrong? Literally everything. The WWE brand split has been summed up to me as a flop. They started out very, very strong the first couple weeks. Raw was headlined by Finn Balor becoming the number one contender to face Seth Rollins at SummerSlam for the WWE Universal Championship, while Smackdown held its own by bringing up new stars like Apollo Crews becoming the number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship and Dolph Ziggler getting a shot at the world title. Kinda weird. But today I'm going to give you the top 5 reasons why the WWE brand extension / draft was a huge flop. Starting off the list at number 5, squash matches and filler matches. This primarily has to do with Raw. Braun Strowman and Nia Jax up to this point have had too many squash matches. What I mean by that is that they're just facing complete nobodies. I get the point, they're trying to make them look strong, but let's be honest, this isn't the early 90s anymore. We don't need to have squash matches against guys like Jeff Harvey. If you get my reference there, you're pretty smart. But to be completely honest, I'm not impressed by how bad they can beat up a jobber than how bad they can beat up, let's say, a Dean Ambrose or Dolph Ziggler. I'm not impressed by them just beating up complete nobodies. I'd rather see them get into interesting feuds that make me want to believe in them and make me want to watch them. Because now, whenever I see them, it's a quick 2-minute match and they're gone. It's very boring, it's very not interesting, and it's just to fill time. With Raw being 3 hours, they need to fill time. Smackdown being 2 hours, they need to fill time. You would never think that WWE needed to fill time. They just need to have longer matches, shorter segments that involve authority, and just let the wrestlers wrestle. That's what they do. That's what the WWE is. But instead, they give us squash matches and filler matches. How many times have we seen on Raw in the past couple weeks where tag teams will come out, like Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy, will come out and they'll have a tag team match and it'll be over in literally 3 minutes. Just this past week on Raw, the New Day beat the Dudley Boys in a record time. The Dudley Boys didn't even get an entrance. They're jobbers now in the WWE. The Dudley Boys. Yes, the Dudley Boys. The multiple-time tag team champions, soon to be Hall of Famers, one of the most decorated tag teams in all of professional wrestling, are jobbers so bad that they didn't even get an entrance. This is why WWE needs to completely get rid of the jobber matches, the squash matches, the filler matches, whatever you want to call them. Number 4, SmackDown not having enough stars. SmackDown got the latter end of the half when it comes to splitting up the roster. Raw got superstars like Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Finn Balor, and more. But SmackDown, on the other hand, kinda got the latter half. Well, of course, they did get John Cena and Randy Orton, but Randy Orton's been out for months with a shoulder injury. And John Cena, well, he can't quite find time to be on SmackDown and wrestle a match than, hosting the Teen Choice Awards and the ESPYs. I'm seeing that the next few years he's on his way out. Sorry to say that, but it's kind of true. SmackDown needs to bring up new superstars. And I'm not saying bring up superstars from NXT, just bring up the superstars that are already there. They're kind of doing that with Apollo Crews and Dolph Ziggler, but Dolph Ziggler's been way overdue, and Apollo Crews needs to not be in the Intercontinental Championship title picture. I think he should have been in the WWE World Heavyweight Championship title picture. Seeing as Finn Balor, who was also in NXT at the same time as Apollo Crews, was as successful as he was. Just saying. But SmackDown has stars like AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose. If you look at the latter half of the card, they don't really have anyone that pops up to you. Sure, they got guys like Baron Corbin and The Miz, and that's kind of all I got. SmackDown needs more stars. Number 3, not getting the stars that we wanted. For months and months and months, we've been hearing rumor after rumor after rumor. This guy's coming back, this guy's coming back, and this guy's getting brought up. With the announcement that Raw and SmackDown could have the choice of picking 6 NXT superstars, or 6 NXT superstars getting picked overall, we thought guys like Shinsuke Nakamura, Bayley, and Samoa Joe were definitely on their way up. Now, we did get Finn Balor, and we did get American Alpha. It's about all we got. We got Eva Marie. She's on SmackDown. We got Mojo Rawley. Nia Jax. We also got her. Yep. Now, that isn't the only disappointment. The other disappointments were the fact that we didn't get any of the stars like Kurt Angle, Jeff Hardy, Goldberg. Now, I know those last 2 were a bit of a stretch, but Kurt Angle definitely could have been brought back. There had been rumors for months that he was possibly going to be put in a tag team scenario with American Alpha. Maybe they could be the new Team Angle. I personally would have loved to see that. Now, Shelton Benjamin was originally supposed to make his debut on SmackDown in the next coming weeks, but apparently he had an injury and is gonna be out for a while. So we didn't get any of the stars that we really wanted. We got Rhino, Jinder Mahal. Kurt Hawkins is apparently supposed to make his debut or re-debut in the next couple weeks. Dropped the ball with that one, didn't you, WWE? Nice going. Number 2. The brand split did not mean better booking. What I mean by that is that some of the booking over the last few weeks has been kind of confusing. The fact that Braun Strowman and Nia Jax can't have a match longer than 2 minutes, or the fact that Eva Marie can't even have a match. I get the fact that they're trying to draw heat to Eva Marie, but maybe have her win a match over Becky Lynch, or have her win a match over Carmella. Don't just have her not get in the ring, because you're kind of just showing that, yeah, we know she's not good in the ring, so we're going to pretend like we're going to have her put in the ring, and then we're going to find a reason for her not to wrestle. Just put her in there. Whatever happens, happens. She's going to get heat either way, whether she wrestles or not, whether she's good or not, she's going to get heat. And just let it progress organically. Because if you just keep not having her wrestle, you're kind of killing it a little bit. I get what they're doing, but it's just not doing her any good, because she's going to get heat regardless. She's going to get booed. Everyone's going to hate her. Everyone does hate her. She's getting roasted on the internet. It's so bad that you might as well just have her wrestle. Just pulling the carpet out from under her every time she steps in the ring. I don't know how much longer they're going to do this, but if they keep it up, it's not going to end well. And some of their other booking hasn't really made sense. Like, how the fuck and why the fuck did Dolph Ziggler just all of a sudden get a title shot? The only reason being that AJ Styles still has unfinished business with John Cena. I know Dean Ambrose is supposed to defend the title against AJ Styles, maybe at No Mercy, I think. I don't know what the next pay-per-view is after SummerSlam. Maybe a Raw pay-per-view. But I know the SmackDown pay-per-view coming up, No Mercy. It's in Sacramento. Maybe I'll go. Who knows? But, yeah, some of their other booking and not really having captivating storylines, and the whole Becky Lynch and Natalya thing. There was one SmackDown where there weren't any Divas matches at all. Divas Revolution. Yeah! And the number one reason why the draft/brand extension was a flop is there's too much WWE. I never thought I'd see the day or say this, that there's too much WWE. You got Raw on Monday. That's 3 hours. SmackDown on Tuesday is 2 hours. On Wednesdays, you have NXT, which is an hour, and the Cruiserweight Classic for the time being as long as it's on. And then, for Sundays, you have pay-per-views, which are usually anywhere from 2 to 3 hours long. It's a ridiculous amount of time. It's a ridiculous amount of content. Plus, all the content they're pushing out on the WWE Network. I know some people don't always watch that stuff, but it is exhausting to watch SmackDown, to watch Raw, SmackDown, the Cruiserweight Classic, and NXT back to back to back. It's 3 days of wrestling. I know it kind of sounds like I'm complaining, and people nowadays are saying that, oh, you should appreciate that wrestling is on every single day. I do, but sometimes it's a bit too much, especially if it's not good. Like, there's only like a few segments of Raw that I will really pay attention to, and those segments being anything with Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Cesaro, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, anything with them, or something interesting happening, I will pay attention to. SmackDown, anything with AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose, maybe Cena, Apollo Crews. There's just so much content and so much of it, and it's just a little bit of an overload sometimes to watch Raw and SmackDown and trying to keep up with everything, because it is hard. It was hard enough to get through 3 hours of Raw. It's hard enough to do that, and then to get through 2 hours of SmackDown, when SmackDown is obviously the latter half of the two. It's getting harder and harder to get through this, and I know we're maybe even 2 months into this, and I'm already saying it's really hard to get through all this content, but it truly, truly is. If you just sit down and watch 3 hours of Raw, 2 hours of SmackDown, an hour of NXT, and I'm not sure how long the Cruiserweight Classic is, throw in that the Sunday before Raw pay-per-view, which is probably going to be SummerSlam. This week is going to be so bad. I mean, I'm excited because it's SummerSlam week and NXT Brooklyn is going to be awesome. But, oh my god. So, Raw was tonight. That was 3 hours. You got SmackDown tomorrow, the Cruiserweight Classic, and NXT. And then on Friday, you have NXT Brooklyn, NXT Back to Brooklyn, whatever the fuck it's called. And then on Saturday, you have some stuff for SummerSlam. I think there's like a panel or something. There usually is. And then Sunday, you have SummerSlam. And then it starts all over again. It's exhausting. It's a little bit exhausting. And, yeah. It's exhausting. It's too much content. There's too much content. If they could space out the days, that'd be great. But they can't because they shoot Raw on Mondays and shoot SmackDown on Tuesdays, and they want to avoid spoilers and shit like that. But I don't know. This one's kind of just my own personal opinion that it's too much content. And that's basically it. Those are the top 5 reasons why I think the WWE draft was a flop. Now, these are my own personal opinions. I don't want any of you to think that I hate WWE now, that I will stop watching. I'm not. I'm still a true fan. I'm a fan of wrestling in general. But I'm just venting my opinion, venting my voice, using the platform of YouTube to vent my frustrations with the draft and how I thought it was a big disappointment. In my eyes it was, but in many others' eyes it was a huge success. I'm sure in WWE's eyes it was a huge success because they finally brought up Finn Balor. They are spotlighting Dean Ambrose the way he needs to be spotlighted. Seth Rollins is getting the spotlight. AJ Styles is getting the spotlight. You know, everyone's kind of doing their own thing, and it's good. And it's probably good for them, but for wrestling fans, and I'm sure for average wrestling fans, and not to categorize any wrestling fans, because, I could easily do that. There's your average wrestling fans, your avid wrestling fans, your hardcore wrestling fans. But for average wrestling fans, I'm sure it's great that there's so much wrestling on all the time. And for the hardcore fans that, been there, ups and downs, been through the stretch of Monday Night Raw when it was just shit and they were just dropping in the ratings, and been through the era of SmackDown where nobody watched SmackDown. It was hard to even watch SmackDown. You would read the spoilers on the internet and be done with it. You didn't even have to watch it. But, the brand split, as much of a great idea as it was, to me, in my eyes, it was a huge flop. Maybe not a huge flop, but it was a flop in my eyes. But That's just my opinion. Those are my top 5 reasons why the WWE draft slash brand extension was a flop. If you guys agree with me, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, give me a thumbs down. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion. So please leave a comment down in the comment section below. Do you think it was a flop? Do you not think it was a flop? Do you have any other sorts of opinions? Also, give me your predictions for SummerSlam. This video is probably going up before SummerSlam. So give me your opinions on SummerSlam, your predictions. I'll probably do a predictions video pretty soon here, coming up. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like it, share it, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.